Hi everyone, I'm DeSmith. I play hockey for the Pittsburgh Penguins, but playing disc golf this weekend. It's my first ever tournament, and I'm really excited to go out there with some actual professionals and see how I do. PDGA number is 101294. This is my in the bag. I'm going to start off with my putters here. This is actually Judge. This is one of the first discs that I ever got. I think it's actually the first. It's only 3 years old. I only started playing disc golf about 3 years ago now. So this is my oldest disc, 3 years old. This is my most understable putter. Mostly short approaches, anything that I need to hyzer flip, short range, small turnover shots with a putter. These are my two putting putters. This is a classic Judge, kind of worn in a little bit. It's a little grippier than this one, so if it's raining or something, I'll use this one. And if not, I'll use the Prime, so classic and Prime. Now to mid-ranges. This is the Justice. A lot of dynamic disc guys have this one. Very, very overstable. Short hyzer approach shots, stuff like that. Big headwind, I need to control it. This is what I go to. This is a Suspect, so it's a little less overstable than this one I find. Still goes, pretty farther than this one for sure because it stands up a little bit better. Also more of an approach disc. These are my Emac Truths. This one I just got from Cody Wingate, actually ran a tournament last weekend, I think. He just gave this to me, so it's pretty new. This is pretty overstable for me right now. It'll go pretty straight with a good hyzer on it. And then these ones are a little bit more beat in. This is a Moonshine Emac Truth. I find it's a little bit more stable than the regular one. I've had them for about the same amount of time. This one will turn over a little bit, or I can hyzer flip it and have it go fairly straight. And this one, if I throw it on a hyzer, it'll still hyzer for me. So those are my mid-ranges. Now my fairway drivers. I actually just lost my Felon like a week ago, so I haven't gotten a new one yet. So I'll be working with, this is a pretty new Convict with a hand-eye stamp. Probably my most stable now that I lost my Felon. It's another Convict, a little bit more beat in, a little bit older. And then this is my Escape. This is probably my straightest fairway driver for me. Throw it on a hyzer and it usually flips up, hopefully goes pretty flat. And then these are my two understable ones, the Maverick, and this is a St. Pro. So they're about the same understability wise. It just depends on the shot. I find this goes a little farther, and this tends to go a little straighter if I throw it on a big enough analyzer. And now for my drivers. I have 3 Trespasses. This is my newest one, most stable. This one goes fairly straight for me with a little bit of turn. This one is definitely flippier than the orange one. And then this one's actually pretty new. I'm trying to work on beating it in, but it's a Fusion, so hopefully by the end of things, this will be my most understable one. But for now, this one is. Then I have 2 Sheriffs. This is a beat-in Sheriff. I've had it for about 6 months now, and this one's pretty new. I've only had it for about a month. This one's a little heavier, so it tends to be a little bit more stable too. These are usually my go-to if I'm looking for max distance, or if it's a long straight hole, I'll usually reach for one of these. And then I have 2 Enforcers. This one's a little bit older, but it's also Fusion and a little heavier. So this is my overstable distance driver for the most part. And then I have a little bit lighter Enforcer. That's a Fusion or a Biofusion. And this one actually goes pretty straight for me. It's almost beat into the point where I'm scared to throw it on too much of on too flat of a line because it'll flip at this point. So usually if I release this one on a hyzer, it'll flatten out, glide for a bit, and then hyzer off. This one flattens out a little bit and then hyzers off a little bit quicker. These are mostly my forehand discs. This is probably the disc I throw the most. It's a Bio Fusion Defender. I usually throw it on a hyzer and it'll flip up, sometimes even turn a little bit, and then hyzer out. I'm gonna have to add a new one to the bag soon. This one's getting pretty beat in, so I'll have to fill in the gap between these two. This one's really overstable for me. It's a hybrid Defender. I find the Lucid plastic Defenders are really overstable for me. Trying to get a forehand out there that'll go flat, it's pretty tough with those discs. So I got the hybrid. It's kind of a match between the Fusion and the Lucid plastic. So I've really been liking this. If it's really windy, I'll throw this backhand and trust that it'll fly and then hyzer out if I need to keep it in the fairway or something like that. But my in the bag's kind of boring. I only started playing 3 years ago. I don't have any super beat-in discs, no super cool discs, but you know, I'm just getting into it. So hopefully in 5 years it'll be a little bit more exciting. This is my Ranger bag. I want to give a huge shout out to Dynamic Discs, specifically Eric McCabe, for setting me up with a lot of this stuff. They've been nothing but supportive of me, even though I'm not like a touring pro. This is my first tournament. They've supported me and give me a lot of discs and a lot of tips and stuff like that. So big shout out to DD, and hope this weekend goes all right. Thank you.